Hello, my name is Prina Sanguinetti.
I'm Benton Lay.
I'm Chanel Dixon.
And we are going to be disassembling and assembling a computer and informing you about all of its wonderful parts.
Right now I'm going to unscrew the heatsink. You're going to put the screw there and turn to the left. So you're going to unscrew all four. And then you're going to pick it up. This is the heatsink.
Now I'm going to take out the hard drive, and this is a SATA cable that connects the hard drive to the motherboard, and we will be taking this one out too. We'll be connecting this power as well, and this is the hard drive.
I'll be taking out the optical drive right over here. Before you gotta take it out, you gotta detach the SATA cables that are connected in here. As before, we took out the other SATA cables. And with all components out of a computer, there are power cables connected. So, and this one is connected to power supply 3. And so now I'm just gotta, and I guess for this computer, you gotta take out the front part because it comes out frontward. So I'm gonna take that out. And to get the optical drive out, you're going to lift on this little blue part right here and then push forward and it should slide right out. And that's how you get it out.
Next I'm going to unscrew the power supply. I'm turning to the left to unscrew. Okay, so now I'm going to take out the power supply. Go backwards. Make sure you take the cables out from the sides and unhook it from the motherboard. This is the Molex. That's our power supply. Next, I'm going to take out the RAMs. It's the RAM. Sit that over there. Another RAM. So after you unscrew it, you can just go ahead and push it on out.
The fan. We have to also disconnect it from the motherboard. What you want to do is pull this back and then push on this right here and then pull it out. This is what you'll be pushing on in order to pull it out. And here is your fan. Remember, you want to unscrew to the left. The motherboard. Now that we've disassembled everything, we're going to reassemble it and put everything back together.
First, we're going to put in the motherboard. Make sure your ports are facing the back panel. The motherboard is the main circuit that holds and powers all of the internal components, except for the hard drive.
Located on the motherboard is the CPU, the Central Processing Unit. It is the main processing unit that executes instructions to process data. It's pretty much like the brain of the computer. RAMs, which go into these RAM slots right here. The RAM holds data, programs instructions, and the operating system while the computer is on. RAM is volatile, which means that when the power to the system is lost or turned off, the contents of RAM memory are lost. This is probably the reason why your computer takes so long to shut down.
Located on the motherboard you have your PCI slot. Here you can put your adapter cards, such as the network interface card, your video card, or your sound card. And also, this is the CMOS battery.
Right here is the BIOS chip, which loads the operating system. It lets the CPU know what drives are connected. It performs the power on self-test for all the different components to make sure that everything works well.
Now we're going to put in the power supply. Now, the power of supply is what gives power to all the components of the motherboard. These are the cords, the power supply cords. They transfer power to the motherboard. This is called the MOLETs. This port is the MOLETs. And you're going to connect it here to the motherboard.
Now we're going to put the hard drive in, and you want to tilt it a little and then push this back, and then there it is. You want to also connect this into the hard drive. The hard drive is premium and permanent storage. It stores all software installed on computer and all the data files, like your pictures, music, videos, all of your personal things.
As we got our hard drive in, now we want to give it some SATA cables put into it, because you have to transfer data to a hard drive. That's your main source of storage. And with your SATA cables, they're pretty fast. They transfer about 150 gigabits of memory per second. It's pretty fast. Right, as we connect those in there too. And what else has a SATA cable is our optical drive, which you can use DVD players or Blu-rays, whatever you want. But we're going to slide that in there, coming through this way. You can get it in, there we go. And I guess like the hard drive, you also have to connect a power cable to it. So I'm going to take my other SATA cable and then my power cable and connect it. This one and the other. Now that we got our hard drive and everything else in, we got to put our heatsink fan back in. And when you're putting in the heatsink fan, I guess you want to do it at like a polar type situation you got. So like say from when you want to put it in, you want to start with these two screws and then these two screws. And it's a little difficult to put in the heatsink fan because you want to even it out. So we're going to get done like that real quick. But what the heatsink fan does is, as you may or may not know, the CPU gets really hot processing all that data. So it's something to get rid of that heat. And so that's why we got a heatsink fan. And I guess if you want to better preserve your CPU, you want to throw a little, it's kind of like a bonding fluid. It just keeps all the debris and air pockets away from it, and it's like a better conductor for your heatsink to your CPU. But the materials vary. Some people use silver, but I go with silver, so it's a good material. But now that we got that in, we're going to connect our cable back to the CPU fan for our power. Ready? One last component that we got to put in is our fan. Almost forgot about it. We got a good bit of fans going on our computers nowadays, but I'm just going to throw it in there by the hard drive. That gets pretty hot too, because we have a hard disk drive. And as you know, it has moving parts in it, so these spinning disks get pretty hot. So take these little rubber instruments right here and make sure they go in each component. And then like the other fan we have on there, the CPU fan, you also want to make sure it's connected to the power source. So I'll do that. Alright, and then we can close everything up. Just make sure we gotta put our lid on. Alright. Session, and I hope you enjoyed a little instructional video on how to assemble and disassemble a computer while getting a good gist of what a computer does. So, thanks to all my little buddies here. Hope you enjoyed.
Bye!
See you later.